My name's Jacob. Right now I'm with client and good friend Jason. Jason, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So I've been coaching Jason for the last, I don't know, it's been 8 months now. He's had a crazy transformation. So we're here today, traveled to Kansas because he traveled here as well. So yeah, the first thing I have, tell us who you are and what do you do, man?
My name is Jason Liefert. I work in app support, so I sit in front of a computer all day, supporting different clients. So, I just decided it was time to get moving.
Yeah.
Get the body moving and make a change.
Yeah. So give us a quick rundown on like kind of how your fitness journey was before.
I did a few things, but never really got that into it and wasn't that dedicated. So, but it never really stuck. I maybe tried a little bit of a diet or, just kind of I decided, it was time to finally find something that could work that would, actually do the job. And so that was what I finally decided to reach out.
So how much were you weighing before you joined?
I was about just over about 260 or a little over 260 when I first joined.
How about before you started your fitness journey as a whole?
Fitness journey, yeah. I mean, the highest I remember looking was about 261 something. So, I mean, I hadn't actually looked because I knew it was probably higher than I really wanted to admit where it was. So I hadn't looked in quite a while.
Yeah. So what was that driving factor that made you feel like, dang, I need to do something about this?
I guess the big thing was, I was getting tired of my clothes not fitting. I kept continually having to buy bigger clothes. My pants were getting bigger. And also what really stuck in was, a couple months before we started, I'd seen a couple pictures of myself and I'm like, I knew I had an issue, but when I saw those pictures back, I just kind of like, okay, that was kind of the shocking moment where I'm like, okay, I need to really do something. So, I just didn't like the way I looked and the way clothes were fitting. And so it was time to make a change.
That kind of goes into my next question. How would you rate, I guess, your physical state and like your mental state before joining?
My physical state wasn't great. I mean, I was getting just way too fat. Some of my numbers going to the doctor, and some of my numbers weren't great, like cholesterol and then mentally, I think I was worn out because I was always making excuses because I've had some stressful jobs, but everybody has stressful jobs, and I was making excuses instead of actually taking care of myself. I take care of myself, and I got addicted to wings and beer. That was kind of my stress reliever, and I just realized, I can't keep this up. I need, wings and beer aren't an excuse. You need to, do something that'll actually help me.
Absolutely.
Be something, more physically fit, more healthier.
I guess before joining the program, what was your main goal? What did you really want to hit?
Yeah.
The initial goal.
The initial goal is, I knew I needed to lose at a minimum 30 to 40 pounds, 30, 40. I really wanted to hit 50 pounds, but I was around 260 or just over it. I was like, maybe, depending how things go, I can actually get below 200, which is where things have gone great. I'm actually, I hit my initial goal of 50 pounds down by my 50th birthday, which was awesome. I mean, I did that in just about 6 months.
And literally the day before. Yeah, it's crazy.
And now it's, I've actually gone below 200, so everything is just, clothes fit better. Everything is great. I feel a lot better, more confident.
261 down to 195,
right.
And been 8 months. Like, now we're really trying to push for 180, which is like totally doable with how fast this guy loses weight.
I haven't been that shortly after college. I haven't been that low, so it's been several years.
Have you tried anything in the past before joining the program?
I mean, nothing official. We've bought equipment. Like I'd get on it for 20 minutes a day, or maybe try to walk around the neighborhood. But I was never dedicated enough, and it also didn't help. Even if I was doing 20 or 30 minutes a few times a week, I didn't have the diet in there too. I might eat a salad, but if you're eating a salad for dinner, but you're having donuts for breakfast, it doesn't really help. And that's where your program really helped because you've helped me with both the nutrition and the exercise fitness side of the journey. So.
I'm glad, man. When you joined the program, what did success look like to you?
Success to me it was getting more confident in myself. The main thing was just losing the weight, making clothes feel better, losing weight. I just definitely wanted to start feeling better about myself. Losing weight has worked out for gaining confidence in myself. I was stressed, and like I say, I wasn't, learning how to deal with stress. And, at this point too, I have a lot better knowledge of how to eat, how to, exercise, and what healthier foods are. And so, eventually, I used to run too, so maybe I can actually get back into that. But I feel a lot better. I have a lot more energy. Any activities I do, I feel stronger in daily tasks.
That was the next question I was going to ask. Like, what has changed since you've lost 65 pounds and more coming?
Like I say, just feeling stronger. Just working out in the yard, or I don't get as tired as fast. I have a lot more stamina, a lot more strength. The big thing is the clothes don't fit tight. Clothes are fitting really loose. Actually, I had to go buy a lot smaller clothes because everything is.
That's a a good problem to have.
Yeah, fitting a lot baggier. So that's a good problem to have, like you said.
What does the next 12 months within your health and fitness journey look like? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go?
I want to continue to lose some more weight. I mean, it's been a great journey so far, losing the 65 pounds, getting below 200 where I haven't been in many years. But, I would like to lose, like I say, get down to 175, 180, keep losing weight. The main thing was to when I started, I wanted to lose the weight, lose the fat. But I also wanted, maybe kind of put on a little bit more muscle mass, look a little leaner, once I've lost the weight, then I can work on, really focus on lifting and kind of put a little size on that way. Just, look a lot healthier.
Yeah. You've definitely got stronger. Like seeing your weight whenever you're at the gym versus like the beginning and what you do now, crazy difference. It's crazy. So knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have waited as long to maybe reach out for help. I was making excuses, like I say, stressful work, stressful life. Everybody has stresses. That's what I was just blaming for. That was my excuse to drink beer, eat wings, eat crappy food. It was just, I was making excuses for a while. I knew kind of in the back of my mind that I needed to make, but I just never had that motivation. I just wish I would have reached out earlier. Glad I finally, it's been a great journey for sure.
Absolutely. I guess for anyone stuck right now, what would you say to them? Obviously wanting to make a change, they know they need to make a change, but they're stuck, right? What would you say?
I would definitely say, reach out. I mean, you've been a huge help. You've helped me with the food. You've helped me with the, and I admit I'm a picky eater, but we found a healthy diet that works for me. Your program is great because, like I say, not only diet, you don't have one specific diet and try to put it on everybody you work. You've worked great with me. And then the workout, you work with what resources, what time I have available. If you're stuck, don't make excuses. It's time you need help, reach out, and somebody who has more knowledge on it and that can guide you, because that's the biggest thing is, you've given me a game plan, it makes it easy for me. All I have to do is just execute the plan.
Yeah. So what would you say is the one thing that sticks out the most from the program?
Not having to think about what I'm doing, just having the game plan there for the food, the fitness, and just the encouragement, our talks, our weekly talks, and just the encouragement and having somebody there to, if I have a question, or I, need a little motivation. That's what's really helped out.
Yeah. So if I were to just have given you like a random meal plan, right, and maybe didn't communicate with you as much, how do you think that would have went?
I might have lost a few, but I don't think I would have had nearly the results, because with us keeping in touch, I'm picky. We've talked, and you can make adjustments, and it helps having somebody who's behind you, supporting you. It's also I feel accountable. When I was just myself, I was just kind of but somebody I have to be accountable to. It helps with the motivation as well. Somebody who's there all the time.
Yeah. So I guess the last question I have for you. Obviously, you had your journey going from 260 down to 195 pounds. What is a piece of tactical advice that you could give to anyone looking to better their health and fitness journey?
Yeah, I guess the big thing is I'd say find a program that works for you, and find a piece of exercise equipment. Like I've got an exercise bike.
You love that thing.
I love the bike. It works out great, but it's something that I can use. It's easy to use, but it's also something I can do every day. I liked walking, but in Florida, especially in summertime, there's thunderstorms every day, and I was kind of like, well, all right. I was easily, I'm like, okay, I can't exercise today. Find something you can do you enjoy, and you can do consistently.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Well, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure working, and obviously we have a lot more to do, but it's been awesome. Do you have, I guess, anything else you want to say? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, just like I say, it's been a great journey. I've really been a mentor and a friend and a coach, and it's just I've really enjoyed working with you. These almost I guess about 8 months. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. Always we talk about football, talk about fitness, everything, right? And of course, achieving those goals. But the biggest thing is sustainability, right? And that's why it's important to have communication with whoever you're working with, because there's never a one size fit all. You've always had to find something that's structured to you. That's what we did with Jason, right? Because he's a picky eater, so you got to find what works best.
And you did.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.